Easy ye, how are we?
Shawnee, I don't ever want another Christmas present off you again.
It's a season of goodwill, son. What's wrong? I looked after you this year for Christmas. You got your Christmas present early, and all of a sudden you're not happy?
No, I'm miserable. I've
What's wrong
been
with you?
miserable since 7:30 this morning when you dragged me out of bed to do this crack.
For those that don't know, Eric, what are you talking about? Because I spent a Sunday morning, I'm a very busy man, and a Sunday morning leading up to Christmas week, I decided to spend with my good buddy and travel half the country together. And all of a sudden, you sound pretty ungrateful. You don't sound too happy right now.
It's far more fun when you're laughing at me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm miserable. I can't even breathe. I'm doing this fucking race, and I don't even know what's coming next. And you're around. I'm starting to see stars. I haven't trained in a month. I haven't seen a rowing machine in 2 years. And like every kilometre, you're trying to bring me around at a 4:30, and then, let's do this on the rowing machine, and we'll only do 100 metres. So I put in a bit of effort because like it's only for 100, and then Sean's like, no, actually, do 200. You fucking miserable shit.
It got to the end. It was like 600 metres gone to ski. I was like, we're breaking the 200s. Would be grand. And that was the beginning of the year. But those of you who don't know, the Hybrid series doing that ski was exercise 1 of 8 after.
Oh, miserable. Miserable.
You told me you watched YouTube videos going down. You had a good talk with Sean Noble on your flight back home to Ireland at the start of the week. Man, I thought he prepped you. I thought he prepped you well for it.
No, he laughed at me in Dublin airport. Because he heard the state I was in. I was like, I haven't done that, and I haven't even trained. And he's like, you're going to have fun. I was like, yeah, I know. So, no, look, I have to say, was I miserable? I was miserable for the first 3 laps because I think you thought I was going to be quicker than I was until at some point I actually had to plead with you to slow down. And I think that's when I kind of realized you were like, all right.
You're like, slow down. I'm like, come on, we got this. And at one stage just went, please. And I was like, I don't think I've ever heard Eric Law say please ever.
So,
right.
Like that was like, I didn't even know what was next. And you were like, oh, look, when we get to this, we're going to do this. And then we'll do this every 6 meters. And I was like, Sean, I don't even know what you're fucking talking about. Will you stop annoying me with this shit? Just wait till we get there and just tell me what's going to happen. So yeah, first 2 stations, I was in a kink. And then we slowed down a little bit on the 1K runs to the level that I could do, and they became kind of recovery runs. But after that, in fairness, you took a good chunk of the load on some of the other ones. But after that, it became more enjoyable, I will say. Once we found the level that we knew we could go at, well, I could go at. Yeah, it was an enjoyable one. It does have that element because I don't mean to take it away from the events. The events are very easy, which makes it really annoying.
What do you mean by easy?
As in, there is no reason why I, a 33-year-old man, can't row 500 meters at a decent effort. There is no reason why I can't lunge or do a few squats or do a few, there was nothing there that required major skill. I will say there's skill to it in transitioning and skill to like the technique, I suppose, of doing it, but none of it is rocket science. You just have to be fit. And that was really annoying. So yeah, it was, but I have to say it was really, really well run. And I know I didn't really know what was going on at any point, but I got the gist of it. The staff there were very encouraging, and like I know it was a race and stuff, but in fairness to the staff, they didn't ruin my day. I was having a bad day.
I ruined your day.
And if like I know there's all sorts of rules, and there was a couple of times, and probably my first or second rep, I was way off what was supposed to happen. You were like, no, you big EJ, you're supposed to, no, okay, right, whatever. But the coaches, judges realized these guys are not winning this race, and they were like, keep going there, you're doing all right. And it was common sense, and I love when common sense exists. But I have to say, I understand why people are getting addicted to it for the very reason I just said. There is no reason why me at this age should not be able to do it. I mean, when we do the running, like I love just the running. It was the fact that you do a kilometre and then you're like, oh no, now I have to do something else. Like it was it was like triathlon, but it was weird. You know, you were doing a different event every time, and yeah, it was like some I'm obviously better at than others.
Hmm.
I think when it came to pulling a sled, I think I was rowing it as opposed to doing the leg thing that most people do. You know, like there were certain elements of it I found way easier because I'm heavier and whatever else. Then there were some elements I was like, oh shit, I'm really heavy. It's but yeah, no, it was enjoyable, but you know, I don't even know. Can you call it a benchmark? I suppose you can, but having not trained specifically for this event ever, I think I enjoyed how miserable I was. And the only reason I enjoyed how miserable I was is because I kept telling myself, imagine you actually did a little bit of training, you know?
Mm.
And I will say, I don't think the event gets any more enjoyable. I just think you get quicker. It's the same as a 5K or a 10K because you're racing against time, you know, and you're trying to be as quick as you can through every station. So, yeah, I might get fitter and I might get more used to the stations and what's coming next, but I'm still going to be as miserable every rep because I'll have just gotten faster. You know, it's a funny one.
Well, with the doubles though, like even on the way back, when the first time I was talking to you on the way down about strategy and switching to ski and rower, I may as well have been talking to the car stereo because it just wasn't registering with you. But on the way back, you're like, I see what you mean now with the ski, and maybe you don't transition as much on rower, but the setup down in the hybrid series and at Lone, I love it because the RDS is just dreary and it's just there's no sunlight or nothing really coming into it. It's just dead. Whereas that kind of just feels it just looks like a nicer venue to me. I kind of wish the likes of Hyrox and Trikers and stuff would be more, even out in the Blanche Centre and stuff like that. But that's not a here nor there. For the first event you did, and that was your first ever kind of, like you said, you hadn't been on pushing sleds or skis, anything like that. I
I
thought you
didn't.
did pretty
I didn't
well.
even know what a sled and ski. What? I haven't seen them in 2 years.
Oh, you could tell me you got to the sled push. I'm like, oh God, he's going to kick this thing down. You
Ah,
just crumpled up like a car trying to push the thing. But then you're like, you're a grand moving. I'm like, oh, you see him all right. You're like, as someone that hasn't done it, it'd be like me trying to do your job and hop in the front of a cockpit going, what the feck do all these buttons do? But you got into it fairly quick. You settled in after the third loop. And look, I'm no expert. I've just done a few of these and made a good few mistakes. I will hold my hands up because I did the same thing a good friend Amy I did trico with back in October, and we got to the ski, and when I see people I kind of look over, I'm like, oh, they're doing this per 500 meter, okay, right, I can go a little bit faster. Next thing you know, I know better. Like the first half of a Hyrox race is not a race, but I'll see them and go, I could push a little bit more, and that got in my head. I could see, because we passed out three people at the end of the ski, and I was like, I seen we're getting close. I'm like, Eric, if I go 200 and 200, you go 200, there's less turnover. We'll just blitz out of it and recover on the run. You blitzed it on the 200 meter, and then you're like, oh God. And I was like, that first lap, you were in a heap. I'm like, oh, we got this. Come on, let's get back in to get your second win. And it was a second lap, then you were like, Sean, please. And the way you said it, I was like, right.
yeah,
He's in the t-shirt. I don't want his head going over the railing right now and puking up everywhere.
I
We better
was,
slow down a
and it was
bit.
more so like as in, look, I wasn't. I haven't been. The biggest thing for me, I think, on the run was annoying because I know I can run a little bit quicker.
Mm,
Like it wasn't the events weren't that intense. I think I just haven't gotten over. Like you could even hear my breathing as we were going
mm.
around and wheezing. Oh, I'm not breathing, so it's I think there's 20 seconds a kilometer there. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it was gonna turn into a 4 minute K. I just think we wouldn't have like it was interesting because when we were doing the actual events, let's say to take out the running, when we were doing the actual in between bits to the running, we were actually probably stronger than most teams without much effort.
Mm,
Depending on what it was, because we had strength. Like I think I did the row and I just stayed on for 500 meters in between yours. And I was looking at the numbers without trying, and I was matching guys beside me who were going balls to the wall. So
yeah.
I wasn't like, I was at times like that. I was like, Jesus, imagine I did a little bit of training here, you know, and same when we did farmer carries and all the wall balls. So yeah, like I really enjoyed it once we slowed the pace in the middle because I knew I just hadn't got the capacity, lung capacity for a start, fitness level to be able to sustain what you required me to do in the middle. I
Mm.
couldn't. For me, I had to use the 1K as a recovery
The-
or a steady state. I couldn't push.
And that's
Um,
why it's a running event. That's
Really is.
exactly why it's a running event. Like you don't make too much difference in the pairings, especially those at the higher level. But the running and trying to recover, and if you're
Yeah.
trying to recover in the run is the majority of it. If you're trying to recover and
Yeah.
slow down, that you're losing so much time. Where slowing down slightly on a ski and a rower is only 10, 15 seconds to push harder than on the runs.
Yeah.
It is a running event.
Yeah, and like I do get it. I do get why people are excited by it, and again, it comes down to that point. There is no reason why I can't do any of these things.
Mm.
I will give my admiration for those who do the single event, and we've mentioned him already. Sean Noble in 55 minutes. Like we were a
Unbelievable.
pairing, and we did an hour and 10 or an hour and 11 or whatever it was. So an individual to do all of that on their own, 15 minutes quicker, like it's some
And a lot
it's
heavier weights as well,
yeah,
by the way. A lot
yeah,
heavier in the sleds and the wall balls as well. Do you not think that if you were, like, for example, this time of year, people might have set goals for like 5Ks, 10Ks and all the rest. And we've talked before about those first few runs back. And sometimes, like I talked about over summer and I pushed too hard, calf injury, blah, blah, blah. And they're a bit miserable trying to get back into it. Do you think if you're fitter, though, you'd be able to enjoy a bit more, especially because you'd be able to strategize a bit? You'd be like, okay, we're going at a good pace. You know what? I feel good. I'll take over on this station rather than hanging on for dear life on each one, because you're just like, you're coming to stations, expect like burpee broad jumps or lunges. You're like, I just went in and took over for the start and do what I could. And you're like, when's he going to hand that to me? I hope he doesn't hand me for another couple of reps. Maybe you weren't thinking that. I don't know. But my point is, you're like just hanging on that kind of way. Whereas if we were running at a faster pace and you're like, I've got a time to beat now, and you're like, okay, Sean, I actually feel good to start this one and take over in this one. I know what's happening next. I'm able to strategize on a lot more. Hydration is key to fueling endurance performance.
Perform Nutrition's Electrolytes Plus sachets have been specifically designed to fill the need for advanced hydration for athletes.
With 1,000 milligrams sodium, all essential electrolytes, and 2,500 milligram performance blend made up of glutamine, taurine, and coconut water powder, one sachet will replenish and revitalize your hydration.
Using natural flavors, natural colors, no added sugar, and no added fillers, each sachet has a sweet and lightly salted fruity flavor and comes in either mixed berry or citrus.
Informed, sport tested, and trusted by Olympians such as Kate O'Connor, world champion boxer Aoife O'Rourke, and pro triathlete Nikki Ballot, and many more elite athletes.
Trust Perform to fuel your excellence, and by listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this podcast. Now let's get back to the episode. Yeah, I think if you want to enjoy this, find yourself an Eric, because you were loving it. Because
I had a great time.
I was keeping you at a pace where you were able to think, you were able to talk, you were able to do everything, and you'd done a singles event, so you were doing quite well. Whereas I was like pure misery. I was just like, you had to have felt good, but no.
But that's leaders' legs as well.
I get what you're saying.
And you felt that.
And I will say, I witnessed people. So I was struggling, but you stayed with me. We were a team. Didn't matter what we did, we stuck together, and we did say it was going to be a training session. We knew I hadn't trained. We knew it was going to be horrific for me, but we still said we'd do it like we always do. But we witnessed other people. There was one group in particular, and sprinting, trying to get around as quick as he could. Now, I understand it's his training session and whatever else, and he's doing the best he can. But then he's like giving out to his teammate who has been slower than him on every single lap. And I'm like, well, if you're such a hero, why didn't you do it all on your own? Do you know what I mean? Like you accepted. You accepted I was the lesser, but you enjoyed it. You stuck with me. You gave me guidance. We did it. It was my first time in the gym in 2 years. But like there was some that I was kind of like, I don't understand your purpose here. I get that you're racing, but like it's a team event. If you want to not rely on anyone else, do it yourself. There's a singles competition. So, but I like that about it. I enjoyed the doubles for the very fact it's a team event. And when we run races, Sean, we always start together and we do a 5K and we see each other at the end. We like the fact we go to the event together. But this is probably the first event we've competed together. in a very, very long time. And I'm talking like five-a-side soccer. Like
We're
this
getting
is,
smashed up playing American football
yeah,
10
American
years ago.
football, 10 years ago. But it was the first time that it's me and you for a
Mm,
time. And I really enjoyed that. There was something. Now, I did get that feeling in those first two laps of, Eric, you piece of shit. You're holding Sean back. You're the worst in the world. Like all the normal feeling. It's the same feeling of when you go running with faster people. They're for an easy run and you're on a hard run. And you're like, I'm holding you back. And they're like, it's grand. And you're like, no, please piss off. It's that feeling of holding the other person back. But then it also gave me, and we say about iron sharpens iron, it gave me that feeling in the drive back that I was like, yeah, well, it's bad today. You carried the team. And I was like, but I can see where I can improve
mm,
and I can see where we can improve. And I think, with the right training, me and you could be close to an hour.
mhm.
And I think that's a respectable time as a doubles. I don't know. I think the world record is 49 or 50 or something like that. But, it's, I think we could, do a better showing, I don't know what's impressive. I know what's impressive in the marathon. I know what's impressive in the 10K. Hyrox, it's a bit like when I did Seat the Summit. It was like, what time did you do? There was a time?
Yeah, just want to get it done. Yeah.
What? I just know, like, there's a certain time that people go, and there's a certain
Yeah.
time people go, that's all right. But I understand that now. But yeah, I think it wasn't a bad day. But yeah, it was like a really, really well run event and very enjoyable. I really understand why people are getting into it, particularly runners. And we've had a few people
Mm,
comment whenever we talk about Hyrox who are runners going, that Hyrox shite again. And I'm actually like, do you know, it's actually all the strength and conditioning we probably should be doing. The muscles were not working when we're running. And then you have to run really fucking hard,
mm.
And I actually see why people are complimenting it. I see why endurance athletes are transitioning into this really well. And I also see why people who are picking up this are transitioning into running really well,
Yes.
which is terrifying, So, but the team aspect, the gym aspect, the club aspect, no different to going down to your athletics club, I know, but the bit we always lose in the running game is strength and conditioning. For the everyday runner, it's strength and conditioning. But I wouldn't feel like I was wasting my time if I was doing 2 days a week with a group doing this. I'd actually feel like I'm actually complementing my running really, really well here. So yeah, all in all, really, really enjoyable. Did I enjoy it? No, I didn't enjoy it until I was. No, I didn't.
What is two sentences to me? Oh no, really enjoyable. But did I enjoy it?
No,
No, not at
no,
all.
but, but,
Michael Owen quote there.
like,
That one.
no, but I'm probably, and you're probably the only people. No, we're not actually, but like, there's no one going to that thing today having never even done it,
Yeah.
or done five. I didn't even know what a ski erg was. I knew what it was, but I'd never done it. So like, I arrived there. Like, I was like the blind leading the blind, but you had done it a couple of times. I hadn't a clue. I
I
don't
was
think I don't think anyone else there, like looking at even the people that were competing, there was nobody else in that gym floor there today that hadn't done this in the gym or a training environment or of some element 10, 20, 30 times before, at least some of these exercises. I hadn't a clue. So it was. Did I enjoy the first 3, 4 stations? I was like, no, this is going to be a shit day. But after we got through station 5, I was proud of the achievement of doing it.
Yeah.
More so from my stubbornness of telling you to slow down and then finding a level that, because I was like, Sean, this is a DNF. If you don't slow
Mm,
down, I'm going over that barrier. But finding that level to just go, right, I can sustain this. But yeah, like frustrating, but also how can I be frustrated? I hadn't
yeah.
trained. So yeah, enjoyable to just have the grit to stick in. And in fairness to you, like there was some of them that were definitely 2/3 Sean, 1/3 Eric. I really actually can't wait to see the photos. There's one where you're lunging, you're a little heart out, and I'm asleep on the barrier behind you for the camera. Oh, it was
Hopefully
absolutely
they come
brilliant.
in.
But look, I do understand why. I understand why people are traveling for this Hyrox stuff as well. Um, and I'll just do a comparison to maybe Barcelona Marathon. We go away for a
Hmm.
weekend, but we've a pretty serious job of a marathon, and it's no easy feat. So everything is about preparing for the marathon, and then it's how do I feel after the marathon? Can I lift my arms to have a drink? And am
Yeah.
I well enough to back on the plane? Whereas for this, it's a gym session. It's a hard hour 30. It
Hmm.
doesn't interfere with your holiday necessarily. You know, you have a set time, you're in and out in an hour and a half, you achieve what you want to achieve, and then you enjoy a holiday. So I do understand the attraction and why so many people are traveling to pick it up. But I have to say, for Hyrox is Hyrox and it is the brand, but this Hybrid Series Ireland takes the format, and it's fantastic for clubs and people to give it a go and just keep trading. And you know, I know there's different athletic meets, and you know, when running, we've races, we've 5Ks, and this is their race. You know, so
Mm.
for an Irish company, to just give people that sense of belonging and targets, I think it's amazing. And at Lone, the facilities, showers, freebies, goodie bags, like it's everything I've been missing in a long time. And yeah, like it's and the atmosphere and a big shout out to all those who gave us a shout out with the podcast t-shirts on as well. It was brilliant.
Mm.
Uh didn't think there would be so many, but we do appreciate it. And I'm sure you've all got a good little giggle out of me crying for for an hour and 10 minutes. But no, really, really good. And a lot of fantastic athletes. You know,
Oh yeah.
if you want to be inspired and see athleticism and physical strength and grit and determination from all shapes, sizes, abilities, like it was amazing. It really, really was
Mm.
good. And to see the diversity of shapes, sizes, and ability showing up to take part, that was the bit that encouraged me the most of what, call it a sport, what the sport is, you know, and it was really good for that end. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we got to the wall
Except I
balls.
didn't.
Except you didn't. When you got the wall ball, I was pretty sure you're going to dribble and try and slam dunk it or something. You're like, what do I do with this? Because you've never done a single wall ball before.
Never.
I really did enjoy it. And just to your, there was some things we did 50-50, like sled pushes, stuff like that. We did 50-50 in fairness to you. And I do think even on this occasion, I was a stronger person. But look, the last time we did an event was back in Dunshaughlin in 10K, and I shit the bed in that one. You beat me by a good couple of minutes. So, you know, it has its ebbs and flows, its fitness and all the rest. But even technically being the fitter one or one that's done it more, I would say more so today. It doesn't mean it's easier. Yeah, I found the run a little bit easier. I was able to recover a little bit quicker. But when it was my turn to go on the ski or my turn to go on the rower, it was like, I'm giving all out effort for this X amount of time. And after that, I am feeling it. Because I finished the rower for the 200 meters and I was like, oh, I pushed hard in that one, right? I need to slow down. Like, you want to slow down a bit on that, but I wanted to slow down too. And I finished the burpees. I was like, we're gonna walk. We're gonna walk to the track before we start going for those dupes again. Because I was feeling it. Because I finished that part last. So even if you're listening, going, oh, I'd love to do that with this person, but they might be a little bit fitter than me. They might push a little bit harder, do slightly more of the exercises, and then it just evens itself out when it comes to running and stuff like that. So I don't think you have to find someone with the exact equal fitness. Now, having said that, if someone's doing 8-minute kilometers and one's doing 4-minute kilometers, that's not going to work. And I think overall we're pretty close even now in the running. We're not too far off. But it's just, I've done singles, I've done doubles. I've been fortunate that when I did singles, like I did a singles last week in Belgium. Like, and I'm an idiot. When I see people there with me, I'm like, I gotta be like waving or doing something stupid, like doing laps and all with them, or I'm talking and taking the piss with them on the rower and all the rest. Like, I kind of have to interact because I know I'm not gonna win the thing, so I'm having to crack for them, and it makes it enjoyable for me. So I never feel like I'm doing a solos alone, especially when I have people coming with me abroad, and I really, really do appreciate that. But when you're doing a doubles and you're side by side with someone the whole way through, it's so much more fun. Like
Yeah.
wall balls, like when I did Belgium, the 100, I got to that stage and I was embarrassed at the end of it because it took me like 8.5, 9 minutes. And I just, my back was blah, 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 and everything else was sore and everything. I was barely rattling 3, 4 in a row. And then a week later, we get to the same station. I'm like, right, 10, you 10, me 10, me 10. And not one of us stopped. We just bang, 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 got through, sprint to the finish, and we were done. Definitely more enjoyable for me doing it that week than it was the week before. But overall, yeah, no, real cool. Really enjoyable.
Yeah, it is good. And it's something that I definitely think can complement training. I do think like there's an element like, you know, if you're a part of this gym or you're training for a marathon, you know, you add that into your high intensity day because you're going to do a couple of
Mm.
intervals, you're going to do a couple of 1Ks, 1 miles. I just think it's amazing in that sense, without the risk of major injury, if that makes sense.
Are your muscles tight, tired, and sore after training? Or maybe you're trying to get ready for your next run?
Make these ultra pure hero recovery products a regular part of your routine.
2 must-haves for active lives.
First, we have the wintergreen heat rub cream, perfect for warming up before your workout.
And then we have the Epsom salts gel with arnica, ideal for soothing and support after exercise.
A simple, natural way to care for your muscles both before and after your activity.
Proudly guaranteed Irish and made in County Mayo by an award-winning family business, Ultra Pure means quality you can feel and trust.
Shop these ultra pure favourites online today at ultrapurelabs.ie. Grab yours now and give your muscles the care they deserved. Also, a fantastic stocking fillers for all your runners. By listening to this advert, you are both supporting Irish businesses and this podcast. Now let's get back to the episode. Because there's nothing there really, like the weights. Like even when we talk about the wall balls and stuff, the weights were not something scary. Like it's endurance, not strength. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, agree.
It's not
factor
something.
strength.
It's not something that you need to be. Look, you need to be strong for everything in life. But what I found most interesting about this was I didn't die in a lot of the events. In one or two, I was like, "Yeah, Sean, this is all you." But for the most, and that's just me having not trained it, which highlighted to me some areas I need to work on. But for general just well-being, health, fitness, and moving the body, it covers everything. And that was the annoying part. There was no reason why I can't, and it's just endurance, not strength. Whereas I understand people go to the gym to see people deadlifting 200 kilos and they're like, not for me. I'll do an injury.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. But, a couple of air squats with a ball and throwing it, that was playground stuff.
Leg strength for a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Sandbag lunges, great for core, leg strength, glutes, single leg work, great core for farmer carries stuff as well. Bit more power in the leg for sleds. All that stuff could work. You kind of can get a full workout through it. Would you, and we've had, great running coaches throughout the years in this podcast being like, you shouldn't go from marathon into another marathon into another marathon. With the Christmas and all coming up, is there a part of you that looking into the year ahead, obviously you're going to build towards Barcelona Marathon, but then like, maybe in the middle of months there, I might do a bit of like a back down to that loan for a hybrid series, or maybe as a Hyrox bit there and work on my shorter, faster stuff, and then build, maybe, do we dare mention Dublin and Ballots and stuff on the podcast and build there? Or are you just like, I'll just mix it all in?
So there's a couple of things like I haven't been part of the Hyrox world, and I understand why it's a craze. I just don't know if I'll get involved fully with that craze in Dublin and the RDS and the expense of it all. I really enjoyed the hybrid series because it's accessible. I felt like a VIP because the groups were smaller, the judges were attentive, it felt more local. And so I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that element of it. Like, don't get me wrong, no different to Ironman. Ironman is a spectacle, and it's, I imagine, having been, maybe you can verify, Hyrox is probably trying to be that spectacle, and it is like, I get why people are after it, and that's where the elites are, and that's where their sponsorship, and if you're a fit person and you want to push, I get it. But for me, right, let's talk about it. For the same reason Dublin has now become unattainable, I've no interest really. If I pick up a ticket along the way, happy days, I'll probably do it. Let's call a spade a spade. I'll probably do it because I love the race. I love what it means. It's the one that means the most to me and you and most of our listeners.
Dublin Marathon, yeah.
But would I be chasing the Ballot? No. It's gotten to that point of it's not attainable. So I'd almost rather put my energy into something else, because a lot of people, like anything else, they're going to train their little bums off, and then they may or may not get a ticket to the main event, and now they're traveling. So I get they're buying into it, and I get, they're enjoying it. But that's why the local stuff, even inter gyms, because I know even with your gym and other gyms, they're having little mini days themselves. Like, I love that because I'm getting the workout. And that to me is your Dunshaughlin 10Ks and your Dunboyne 10Ks, and and it's something attainable. Yes, they do sell out, but there's a real chance you can get the ticket. So Would I buy info? I don't know. Let the year decide. Would I like to try one? Of course.
Mm.
You can't say no and not try something, So would I try one? Yeah, probably. But again, I'd have to see how that goes. But what I liked about this one was and I think maybe these will do 2 or 3 events a year. If I'm doing
Mhm.
2 or 3 events a year, like that's a nice marker for me.
Yeah.
Because my priority is maybe triathlon or whatever this year brings as I move back home. I don't know what that brings. I have to make friends. Anyone out there want to be friends? Um, no. Uh,
Hyrox friend.
Hyrox friend, triathlon friend. I'll be anyone's friend. I'll even do the walking race again. But it's what I like, and again I say is the social side, and that is whatever a club will
Yeah.
bring, and the gym will bring, and it's very hard to go and do your strength and conditioning on your own. It's very easy to do it when you're surrounded by other people doing it, And I always say that about running, about anything you want to do, even doing bits around the house. It's easier if misery loves company.
Mhm.
So if someone will help Sean, I still have to do a few things of it. Will he come over here and just watch me do them? But yeah, no, but I get it. A lot of people, the trend, the fad, this is quite different to what CrossFit was. I always thought
Mhm.
CrossFit was unattainable for me because it didn't suit what I was trying to achieve. Whereas this is, for all the reasons we've said, is very attainable, very achievable, durability for life. And again, I say that there were people probably 20 years my senior, absolutely blitzing past me and looking really athletic and looking really strong. And there's nothing there that I would fear that, like, or maybe you as a coach would look and go, this could really hurt you. Do you know what I mean? You have to be careful with this one or not lift too. It was all attainable stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy the experience. Would I try somewhere? Yeah, definitely. I think I would try the Hyrox side and pay for we're gonna ruin their brand, pay for the Ironman experience and see what all the glitz and the glam is about. But um I would be more than happy to be involved with like the Hybrid Series Ireland, and be
Mhm.
very content with 3 or 4 of these races a year, um, to just see where I'm at and keep myself involved and keep ticking over. Yeah, and I say it should complement all the other things I want to achieve. So it's but really really good, like enjoyable with what it can do. Did I enjoy parts of today? No, but well, it wasn't the event's fault. It was my
Mm.
fault I didn't enjoy it. It was fitness that didn't allow me to enjoy it, but it can be worked on, and exposure and everything else in between.
Well, the old phrase goes, as much fun you can have with your clothes on. Had you taken your top off, Eric, you might have enjoyed it a little bit more. Maybe
I
you're
tell
just
you
very
what,
hot and bothered.
there was a few people in that crowd that would have thrown coins at me to put my clothes back on. I don't think anybody needed to see that today. But yeah, there was a few people got their kits off, and I had a few coins in my pocket. I thought about it. No, we let them off. They looked well, in fairness. They looked well. But if it was any warmer, the chocolate would have melted.
With a big Christmas week and all, we don't have a guest in the podcast this week. We're getting back to that proper in the new year, though we do hope we have a Christmas special coming up for you. Before we get into wrapping up the podcast, Eric, you touched on the Dublin Marathon. The half marathon, the info came out on this week, and it seems like they took a lot of advice. I don't want to say advice, but a lot of the criticisms may be on board. Like they pretty much, the one thing with the Dublin Marathon was it wasn't laid out like how many tickets were going for the ballot and all the rest, and like you didn't know what was going on with it, especially in day one where everyone got told no. Now they're telling you right up to getting that €2 that €2 fee if not part of Legs Ireland. They're telling you exactly how many places are going for the half marathon. It's on the Maybank holiday weekend. They're saying what place is going towards charity. They seem to give you every single detail and how everything will get laid out before it goes, as well as getting your €4 back whether you do or don't get it. I think I have that right. So with all that being said, are you going to do the Dublin Half Marathon?
No. Um, no, I think I'm gonna take the same approach. If I get a ticket the week of, I'll do it.
Mm.
Yeah, like a lot of people, I was really annoyed, and I know we talked about it. I was genuinely annoyed. I felt a little bit let down. We spent years talking about the Dublin Marathon and promoting it, and like we were probably more annoyed than anyone. Well, I was. You got a ticket. So when I saw the price plus the €4, I was already like, nah. Listen, There's great half marathons in the country. If I get a ticket that week, someone picks up an injury, I'll give it a spin, of course, because I really enjoyed the last one I did. But I remember when I did the last one, I thought it was a little bit expensive, but it was the first one and I want to be part of it. And we run a podcast talking about running, but I don't know. Now, I know they have expenses and I know there's closer roads, particularly in Dublin City, is expensive. I'm not shitting on them for the price. I'm just saying for my budget in terms of running, I would probably rather do 2 or 3 more local races with that money. If I'm making, I'm not trying to make myself look mean. I'm not trying to make that race look like it's anything more. It's the capital city. It's a capital city half marathon.
Yeah.
I completely understand. But for me, it comes down to budget. You know, when you're trying to do 5 or 6 races a year, like I'd rather get involved to help the Dublin out to say, I'd rather be involved in the Dublin race series than do this standalone half marathon. I'd rather get a few more races in around Dublin
Few
and
more days
Phoenix
out.
Park, and because €70 is a lot, and then if you were lucky enough to get the marathon, you're up to now €210 roughly. And then if you decided to do Barcelona, now you're up to God knows what with travel and accommodation. And it's like, I think, I don't know what it was, the 5K, €25 here, and 10Ks are about 25, €30. You get your t-shirt, you get your medal, you have a great day, you know. So, and I just think it comes from a me personal budget and loving the sport element as much as I enjoyed the race. And I do think they're really well run. And it is the capital city. I acknowledge there's a cost to that feeling. But for me, given the year and the schedule and how much I want to be involved in running, I think I'd rather pick up 2 races for the price of one.
Fair. I
And
have no argument to that.
maybe people share that, maybe people don't. Maybe people think, but I'm not, and I want to clarify, not shitting on the half marathon. Great race, but for me, it's just beyond the budget of my hobby, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it was a really enjoyable race last year. I like to start going to the Collins Street. But even when we said that and we had that podcast out to review, we got a few people going, "What race were you at?" Well, shit, and this and this and this. So, you know,
Yeah.
people they've had different experiences. But overall, I thought it was really well ran last year. I thought it was really cool, the layout and stuff and going through Co Park and everything else.
No, don't get me
I
wrong.
enjoyed the
There
race,
was a
but
few elements where you agree with people. When it narrowed down and you're running on a footpath in Clontarf, you're wondering where your money went.
I got lucky in that one where I was. It
Yeah.
gets weird windy and it opens up a lot there. And I know
No
where I
problem with
was.
wind.
A lot of people stuck
Like
there.
wind's a poor man's
Oh
hill.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I'm just saying that.
But when you're sharing a footpath with another couple of hundred runners and you're
And you're
locked
trying to
in,
push.
then you're wondering where the hell did me €70 go for road closures? And we did say that last year. And
Yeah.
again, not a criticism. It's just a point that most people shared. You know, if we felt it, so did everyone else. But yeah, like it is enjoyable. Like there does come a couple of crowds. It was a really enjoyable, and maybe it was the novelty of it because it was a new route. We were like, this is great. We haven't been over the north side on the half marathon, you know, because the marathon pretty much the park and then you're gone, you know, back out to the south side. But yeah, it is enjoyable. But again, to the same point I've reiterated, there's probably a couple of triathlons in the summer. There's a good few. The 10K races start kicking off in the summer. The Dublin race series in the summer. Fast lane, half marathon. Like there's a few other races that I'm like, do you know, I'm looking even the Nace 10 mile in Mar. You know, there's a few good races out there. And that will be my budget and that's a personal. Our household, we both like to run. It's too expensive for us.
On that note, it's nearly half time with the mighty Villa against Niall. I hope I haven't jinxed them by saying that on the podcast. I have no idea what the score is right now. So I want to get that. And I got a Christmas shopping to do. I know you've got a very busy week coming up this week. We're hoping, do we even say in the podcast? I'm halfway through the sentence. It can be edited out, but we're hoping to have something by Christmas
we
Day.
hope to have the Christmas Day special. So when you're pulling the crackers, you can listen to us for a few minutes. And yeah, we'll have a nice guest, fireside chats, and God knows what could come out of it. But yeah, we'll do one more. And that will be our last for the year, I suppose. We do have some great stuff coming in the new year. As a way before, we will say thank yous again on the next episode. But a huge thank you for everyone who's listened along and took part and joined in and shouted abuse at us. The more abuse, the better. And let's hope it keeps going for the new year. It's been wonderful. We've seen our numbers grow so much in the last year, and it's great. It's scary to think of how many people listen each week, but a huge thank you. And hopefully, if you're out for a Christmas morning run, even the turkey shuffle before the food, we hopefully will have something for you, and that will be us for the new year.
And with that said, that's this week's episode of the Any Given Monday podcast. Myself and Eric. Take care.